Hello everyone, this is Professor Reimer. This video is for my World History class on December 11th, Friday, December 11th, and Monday, December 14th. It's entitled Unit 4, DOL 5. Wait for it! The Mongol Empire is one of my favorite topics to study. We are going to evaluate the legacy of the Mongols by completing a 10-question quiz, but there's a lot to do before we get to that quiz. So, to start, I want you to think back to the empire that Alexander the Great conquered. Can you remember where it was, how big it was? If you can, go ahead and shade it on the map, and I've included this map in one of the handouts, so if you have the ability to print and to shade on it, go ahead and do that. If not, try to, with your hands, like cover up, is this the space? And then do the same thing with the Roman Empire. So pause the video and do that now. Okay, what I've done is I've copied from our textbook, the Empire of Alexander the Great. Was it large? Yes, at the time, the largest ever, and still considered one of the largest ever. And it's a great example of cultural diffusion because all throughout his journey, and you see it there in purple, Alexander spread the Greek culture. He established cities such as Alexandria in Egypt, and he made it all the way to India. And like I said, created one of the largest empires of the time. Now, as for the Romans, yes, also one of the largest. The entire Mediterranean, both the northern coast of Africa, the southern coast of Europe. You got Western Asia there, all the way to Britain. Now, the Mongols. How big were the Mongols? Let's go and check it out. All right, so they have their roots in Central Asia. They're nomadic peoples, and look at the time, just a few short years. They have spread from their homeland in what is today Mongolia, and they conquered China. They conquer the Abbasids in Southwest Asia. They conquer Russia, and would have conquered Europe most likely had the general at the time been called back for a succession dispute. One of the weaknesses of the Mongols, they didn't have clear lines of succession, but we'll get into that later. All right, back to our maps. So go ahead and shade in on your map if you printed it. And let me also point out that, remember I said one of the weaknesses was these lines of succession. And you see it's all red because it's all under one ruler. And then it changes to 4 different colors. That's because after the great Khan, Kublai Khan, Genghis Khan, who was the founder of this empire, after he passes away, they couldn't decide on who should be the one ruler. And so they split up the empire into 4 khanates, or smaller empires. And that's what you see on this map in different colors, right? You have the Yuan dynasty in China, right? You have the Empire of the Golden Horde in southern Russia, the Ilkhanate in Southwest Asia, and I forget the name of the 4th one. It'll come to me later, maybe. So as you are exploring the Mongols, think about these 2 questions. What allowed them to conquer so far, defeat so many different people, and do it all so quickly? And then, more importantly, getting back to our objective about evaluating legacy, what were the positive and negative legacies left behind by the Mongols? All right, to help us do this, we are going to turn once again to Crash Course and John Green. This is the best, hands down, the best Crash Course video there is. John Green really nails the ambivalent, is that the right word? Yeah, ambivalent legacy of the Mongols. So as you're watching the video, I want you to just jot down characteristics. Just make a list, right? No viewing guide. Just make a list. When John Green says the Mongols ate this, jot it down. When the Mongols lived in this, jot it down. Okay, but remember, think back to our questions, right? What allowed the Mongols to conquer so far? So some characteristics about their fighting ability, and then also characteristics about their positive and negative legacies. So pause the video now and go watch John Green's Crash Course. All right, so now you've got a list. You've come back. You've got a list of characteristics of the Mongols. Now what I want you to do is sort those characteristics onto a spectrum. So I know it's kind of small on our screen here, so I have it pulled up over here. So, and this is very easy to recreate on your own if you don't want to print it. So on the left-hand side, atrocious, like awful, like this is unforgivable kinds of behavior, right? See this, the frowning face there. On the other side of the spectrum, very positive contributions, smiley face. And then in between, there's some gray areas. And like so much in life, it is done in the gray. So you have, okay, it's a bit extreme, but smart, makes sense, or at least honorable. And then on the other side, I don't know, yes or no, it's neutral, right? I can't decide. So look at your list and then recreate this spectrum, this Mongol spectrum of decency, and then write the characteristics from your list onto this spectrum. So pause the video and do that now. All right, you're back. You've watched the video. You've jotted down these characteristics. Now you've sorted the characteristics of the Mongols onto the following spectrum. Let's get even more information on the Mongols. In that same handout, you're going to find Mongol excerpts and quotes. So I want you to read these excerpts and quotes and add additional characteristics of the Mongols to your spectrum. For example, if I pull it up here and I need to rotate it. All right, let me also point out that it was intended for like in-person learning where you could be in groups and you would have a student 1 and then a student 2 and then a student 3. You don't have to read every single one of these, student pages. You can if you want, but I suggest just reading the student 1 quotes. So that's this page and then this page. So 2 pages of quotes. Wait, what are we supposed to be doing? Oh yeah, looking for additional characteristics of the Mongols and then deciding where we want to add them to our spectrum. So let's read the first one together. Oh, it even tells us right there at the top. Don't write the entire quote. Write a shortened phrase that indicates the characteristic apparent from the quote. So here we go. This is from Genghis Khan, remember, the founder of the empire, 13th century. He said, those who were adept, like they could adapt and persevere, right? They're adequate. And brave fellows, I have made military commanders. Those who are quick and nimble, I have made herders of horses. Those who were not adept, I have given a small whip and sent to be shepherds. So what is this telling us about the Mongols and about how Genghis Khan was able to conquer so large of a territory? He took the guys, and they were guys, who were skilled, and he gave them really important jobs. And the ones who weren't so skilled, he gave them less important jobs, right? So those who were adept and brave, as in those who were good at fighting, and they were who were really brave, he made military commanders. And those who were quick and nimble, right? In other words, could move fast on a horse, he made herders of horses, because being quick and nimble was a necessary characteristic of people who were the herders. So what should we write on our spectrum? Something like Mongols gave jobs to people with the appropriate skills. Because up until this point, people got jobs usually because they knew somebody, which is still really kind of true today, but to a lesser extent, right? So how did you get to become, a church official? I don't know. Your family were rich and you knew the Pope. Or in the Mongols case, right? How did you become military commander? Well, you were probably the Khan's, family members. But Genghis Khan was different. He said, no, I'm not going to promote people based on their connections to me. I'm going to promote them based on their abilities. And that was one of his key successes. So where should that go on our spectrum? For me, that is a great great behavior. Is it atrocious? No. Is it a positive contribution? I think so, right? Because it gets at the idea that people should be given jobs according to their skill, not according to who they know. For me, positive. So I'm going to write it there. You're going to do this with the rest of these quotes. So pause the video now and read the rest of the quotes and follow those instructions. All right. I told you this is going to be a lot. Remember, we're evaluating the legacy of the Mongols. So what have we done? We've looked and made a list of characteristics of the Mongols based on the John Green video. Then we sorted it onto our spectrum. You just got finished reading excerpts and adding additional characteristics of the Mongols to your spectrum. Now it's time to evaluate, right? Like a scale. So I want you to look at the collection of characteristics on your spectrum and circle the 3 worst offending ones, like absolutely unforgivable. And then the 3 most positive or lasting ones. So you got 3 negative and 3 positive. Now, weigh them. Weigh if the positive or negative characteristics should be weighed heavier by people in the future, us. In other words, you're judging the Mongols. You're their, their teacher who gets to evaluate them, or you're the judge, right? Should these negative and positive characteristics be considered equally? In other words, the good and the bad outweigh, or they cancel each other out. Or do the positives greatly outweigh the negatives, as in the Mongols, even though they had some bad stuff, they still left a positive legacy? Or the negatives, they're just so bad. They can't cancel out the positives. The Mongols left a really negative legacy, right? So we're getting the idea, we're getting at the idea of a thesis statement, which you're going to have to write for the next time, right? You're making an argument, taking aside the Mongols were negative, left a negative legacy, or the Mongols left a positive legacy. So choose these 3 negative and 3 positive, and then draw the scale. Pause it now. Okay, welcome back. Now it's time for the quiz. All right. It's just 10 questions. It's multiple choice. It's in a form found in the assignment. I will let you use your notes. That list of characteristics that you made, you can use it. Your spectrum, you can use it. What you cannot use are any other resources, right? So you can't go to other websites or look them up in any books you might have wherever you are. But I don't have to watch you take the quiz. So I've made it a locked browser, so you can't go to any other websites. But you have your list of characteristics, your spectrum, you have your notes. You can use those. I don't have to watch you. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.